I mean, in the
Yeah.
time, for us at our club, we teach in the morning, we have a dead time in the afternoon, and then we teach after school into the evening. So you're teaching to, um, you could have a 10 or 12-hour day, really,
Yeah.
with a big gap in the middle. I'm like, what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of stress on getting paid per hour. You look in your book, like I get 5 hours this day, 4 hours, and making a living teaching
Yeah.
can be tricky in today's world to attracting young people. We are revamping how we're paying at our club. So we're doing some salary where you build in hours to that salary. So you know that you're going to make X in that time and making it a full-time position. And that person doesn't have to worry if they didn't hit their number exactly, that they can't make their car payment because,
Yeah.
it rained all this week, or I mean, that's outdoor tennis. It rained all this week. And how do I, it's per hour. So I think that's one of the things that needs to change a little bit. We're seeing that to be able to attract younger people, because there's a risk involved if you're just completely hourly to
Yeah.
jump in that if you don't have a nest egg that's built into the back end of what you're doing. So I think paying pros is one of the things that can be beneficial and that can help. There's USPTA figures that most pros are over the age of 45 or 50, the majority of pros out there. So yeah, we're gonna have to bring in young people, pay them, and help train them and be better at that, and not just let them sort of figure it out on their own. We're going to have to be more as managers
Yeah.
and
And you got to
older
see
people.
a path, like a long-term path
Right.
too, because what happens, and I've discussed this a few times, what happens in the industry is that you start off pretty well. I mean, when you're younger and you're making, I don't know, over $20 an hour, depending on whatever club you're at, like
Mhm.
that's great, and when you're just out of college. But then, after a few years, you're like, okay, well, when am I going to make more money?
I just
And
have to work
just
more.
kind of, yeah, you just have to, kill yourself on court and
Right.
continue to burn yourself out. So, that system is not gonna work out really well, or you're not gonna envision
Not
your.
sustainable. It's not
Yeah.
sustainable. It's really not. And we never had a family leave policy at our club. No one was like young enough to and it's like family owned, we have, only 10 full-time employees. So we didn't fall into all the government type things of having to offer it. So we kind of had to figure it out. And my mom is great. My mom and dad have been wonderful in the last few years. My mom is they've both kind of taken a side, and I'm just running it. In the beginning, it was really mom and me running it, but she's an attorney, so she's got a good brain. And so I bounce a lot of stuff off her of those types of things. How do we put together a family leave policy at Western so that women can still get paid? And that's hard. A lot of places are independent contractors, so they don't have to pay women when they have family leave issues. And how do you attract women into our business if they don't feel like they have that support? And so we put together a family leave policy, not just for salary people, but for people who work at least 30 hours. And I can go back 6 months and she's not a salary, but I can kind of see what her average weekly was, and we can pay her that for 6 to 8 weeks, that we could do family leave.
That's
I think
amazing.
it's important. I mean, we have to be able to do that. Or I'm not going to be able to keep, you know, either, whether it's a personal trainer or a young tennis, woman, like tennis pro who's 24, 25 years old. She won't stay doing this.
Right. And I think this is pretty, like, this is the basic stuff, right? Like, this is pretty much a no-brainer to me. It's like, it's almost like we always get asked, how do we attract more women? How do we attract more women? I'm like, well, duh. Like, who wants to do this? Like,
Right.
women are way smarter than this. Like, they're not doing this. Like, I'm